All right, hey everyone, welcome back. You know how much we love a good deep dive here, and today we have one that's just bursting with, well, with imagery, you could say.
It really is. It's one of those things where, well, you know how sometimes you just stumble across a passage and it grabs you.
Oh, totally.
And this one, well, it's all about a garden.
Okay, a garden.
But it's not a literal garden. It's more of a metaphor for your mind. Like your thoughts and your potential and all that.
I am so here for this. Okay, so this garden as a metaphor for our minds, I'm already intrigued. Where do we even start with this?
Well, the way the author describes it is just so vivid, It's like close your eyes and you're right there. You feel the sun on your skin. You hear the birds singing. You could almost smell the flowers. It's like they just drop you right into this incredible sensory experience.
Yeah, and it's not just any garden, right? They describe it as having these winding paths, like you're exploring, and just flowers everywhere, like bursting with color. It's like the ideal garden,
Exactly. But then, and this is where it gets interesting, you start to notice that not all of the garden is like that. There are these areas that are kind of, well, overgrown, like they've been neglected a bit.
Okay, so like a garden with some weeds.
More like some areas that need a little extra love and attention.
Interesting.
And that contrast, that's where the metaphor really comes in. You see, the garden represents your mind. Each plant, each flower, it symbolizes a thought, a dream, or even your potential. And those thriving parts of the garden, those are your strengths, the things that make you, you.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
But those neglected areas, the ones that haven't been tended to as well, those represent the doubts, the worries, those limiting beliefs we all have sometimes.
So like the weeds in our mental garden, right?
Precisely. And here's the thing, the passage doesn't say the weeds have taken over the whole garden, just that they're there. Just like those negative thoughts, they haven't destroyed everything, but they do need some attention.
That's a good point. It's not all doom and gloom. So if we think about this garden as our minds, what does it mean to tend to it? Like, what's the weeding equivalent for our thoughts?
Well, the passage talks about pulling weeds as a way to address those negative thoughts and beliefs. And for me, that really speaks to mindfulness.
Mindfulness, okay.
Yeah, it's about noticing those thoughts, the negative ones, without judgment. It's about observing them, understanding where they come from, and then, well, gently letting them go.
So not ignoring problems, but just sort of changing how we relate to them.
Exactly. It's like instead of getting tangled up in those weeds, we can learn to see them for what they are. They're just thoughts, not facts.
That makes a lot of sense. And what about nurturing the plants? Like, what's the mental equivalent of that?
That's where cultivating positive habits comes in. It's like providing that sunlight and water for your mental garden so those positive thoughts and feelings can really thrive.
So things like, what? Practicing gratitude?
Yeah.
Or maybe spending time doing things we enjoy.
Exactly. Those are all ways to nurture our mental garden. And what I find really inspiring is how the passage describes the garden transforming as it's tended to.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, it says the colors become more vibrant, the energy feels lighter, almost like there's this, well, almost magical feeling to it.
That's beautiful.
And that really resonates with me because it's like, when you do the mental work, when you clear out those negative thoughts and start focusing on the positive, that's exactly how it feels. Like a weight has been lifted, like you can see things more clearly.
I think I can relate to that. Lately, I've been trying to be more mindful, and it does make a difference. Like I feel a bit lighter, less weighed down.
That's great to hear. And there's this line in the passage that I think is so important. It says the soil is rich, ready for new life. It's like this beautiful reminder that no matter what state our mental garden is in right now, we always have the potential for growth and transformation.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is. And at the end of the passage, there's this sense of accomplishment that the author describes. And I think that's what we can all tap into when we put in the effort to tend to our own mental gardens. Because ultimately, this passage is about realizing that we're all capable of growing into something truly beautiful.
That's a really inspiring message.
It is.
Okay, so to sum up, this whole garden metaphor, it's not just a pretty image, right? It's about understanding that our minds are like gardens, and they need our care and attention to flourish.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up, I'd love for y'all to think about this. What's one small weed you could start removing from your own mental garden today? What's one negative thought or belief that you could start to let go of?
That's a great question.
And on the flip side, what's one plant, one positive habit or dream that you could nurture to help it bloom even brighter?
What a great thought to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired to get out there and tend to my own mental garden.
Me too.
You open your eyes and find yourself standing in the middle of a beautiful garden. The air is fresh and filled with the light, earthy scent of soil and blossoms. Birds sing from the trees above, and butterflies flit between the colorful blooms. The garden is lovely, with winding paths, blossoming flowers, and a variety of plants basking in the gentle sunlight. As you take in the scene, you notice certain sections of the garden that aren't thriving quite as much as others. Some plants appear a little faded, their leaves losing luster, while certain corners seem overgrown, tangled with weeds, and a bit unruly. These areas aren't as vibrant, and something about them seems to tug at you, calling you to bring them back to life. It dawns on you. This garden is not just a garden. It's a reflection of your own mind, your thoughts, your dreams, and your potential. Each plant, each bloom, represents parts of yourself, your passions, hopes, and beliefs. The thriving plants show your strengths, your positive thoughts, and the joyful aspects of your life. But the sections that are less vibrant, overgrown, or lacking color are the parts of your mind where doubts, worries, or outdated beliefs have crept in. They haven't taken over, but they could flourish with some attention and care. Feeling inspired, you decide to make a change. With renewed energy, you reach for a small trowel and begin clearing the overgrowth. You pull away the weeds, carefully removing the stems and roots that crowd out the more vibrant flowers. As you work, the soil feels rich, ready for new life, and the flowers around you seem to lift, their colors brightening as you give them more space and light. Bit by bit, you tend to each corner of the garden, nurturing every plant with the attention it deserves. With each weed you remove, the garden seems to come alive even more, the blooms becoming more vivid, and the air filled with an energy that feels almost magical. Soon, the areas that were once overgrown or faded are transformed lush, vibrant, and full of life. As you step back and look at the garden now, it's unrecognizable. Every corner is thriving, every plant blooming brightly. The garden is filled with energy and color, a breathtaking reflection of positivity, growth, and beauty. Standing in the center of this transformed garden, you feel a deep sense of accomplishment, a warmth that fills you with optimism. You realize that, just like the garden, your mind is now clear, open to endless possibilities. You've let go of the negative thoughts and beliefs that held you back, making room for new growth, success, and positivity. This is your space, a place of potential, ready to flourish into your brightest future. With every step, you're inspired to keep nurturing your thoughts, your dreams, and your goals, knowing that your mind, just like this garden, is capable of growing into something truly beautiful.